Friends, we are live. Great to see you on a Monday. CFLW, the show for this Monday, April the 7th. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. What an extremely hot weekend across Central Florida, man. We were pushing some record highs. We're going to be pushing some record highs for today ahead of these storms that'll be working their way into the area later today, tonight, and overnight. So a lot to get into. We've got some active weather coming later on this Monday. As always, CFLW the show, sponsored by the leading law firm of Central Florida. You see their logo right here where I am. They are your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. Anything that could impact your home or your property. So hail damage, burst pipes, winds, you've been in a car accident. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Okay, let's get into the story. Great to see you guys on this Monday. Thanks for tuning in. You can clearly see we got ourselves a very healthy line of storms, and it's working its way through the eastern panhandle right now. I've got the live radar out of Tallahassee up right now. These storms are basically going right over KTLH right now, so a little bit of a cone there, but we have had some severe weather. We have had an isolated tornado warning here or there, and as a matter of fact, this purple polygon that's on your screen, that is a tornado watch that is currently in effect for those areas. I'll give you the summary. It'll be a little bit easier for you guys to see. This tornado watch, which does include, again, kind of the eastern panhandle, slipping towards Lake City there, towards the I-10, I-75 corridor, and then through southeast Georgia and a sliver of South Carolina. Goes until 6 o'clock. Again, max hail size of 1 inch. As we get up towards quarters and beyond, those can be damaging. Winds of 70 miles an hour. Everything kind of moving off to the northeast at around 40 miles an hour. But again, there is some rotation inherent with these storms, which is why we do have a tornado watch. Now, at this point in time, again, on my map, the yellows that you see are special weather statements. If we get a red polygon, that's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. It's those purple polygons, which are the tornado warnings we have to watch out for. These areas in blue, those are going to be your special marine warnings that are in effect right now. And obviously, some of these storms extend into the northeast Gulf of Mexico, and they are causing some headaches for any boaters out there, especially towards Apalachicola Bay. Those will be moving towards places like Cedar Key and eventually the Nature Coast as well. Again, winds that will be pushing more than 40 miles an hour, and again, rotation, so you have the opportunity for some spin-ups. That's what it looks like from the Tallahassee radar. This is what it looks like from the Jacksonville radar. We're a little bit farther away, but it gives us a slightly kind of better perspective here. And again, I've got my radar working. Anywhere that you see these triangles, those are going to be areas where there could be some potential hail. So we're seeing that right now. And again, for Central Florida, all of this is going to try and work its way into the area much later on this Monday, overnight into early on Tuesday. When we take a look at the risk of severe storms right now from the SPC for today, so the areas in yellow are going to be your slight risk. That is going to be your 2 out of 5 on the scale. Now, if you've been following along with the weather here, the Mid-South, the Tennessee Valley, the Southeast in general, it's been really bad lately. I mean, we had a high-end severe weather day. We had many moderate risk, which is 4 out of 5. We've had long-track damaging tornadoes. We've had extensive flooding in the Tennessee Valley, Arkansas, the Blue Hills, Missouri, just areas to name a few that were, it's completely just flooded out. It's a big problem. The risk of severe storms will continue. This is the same system that brought that. Now it's weakening a bit, but all the way through the central sides of North Carolina, basically taking I-95 all the way into the southern sides of Virginia. But if you just follow I-95 back to Jacksonville, those are going to be the most intense areas for the possibility of severe storms. For our area, we do have a marginal risk for our northern zone. So up towards St. Augustine and Putnam County, Marion County, all of Citrus County, most of Hernando, and then the coastal sections of Pasco and the far northern sides of Pinellas counties, you're under the marginal risk. Basically, the plan of action is this. These storms will continue to work their way south and east across the area the remainder of the afternoon into the evening hours. They'll begin to fall apart. They won't hit our area mainly until after sunset. So we'll start to see the intensity of the storms drop a bit because of that. But there's still an opportunity for an isolated, stronger, severe storm there. And then just general thunderstorms through most of our area, the I-4 corridor here back down towards Tampa and Brevard County as well. Again, love to hear from you guys. Appreciate you taking a quick second to tune in. Thank you so much for liking this video. Thank you to subscribing to CFLW if you have not as of yet. Appreciate all of the support. Now, ahead of this, we are going to see some absolutely hot conditions on board right now. Obviously, skies have become a little bit more overcast at this point in time. I'm going to loop this up over the last couple of hours for us here, but look at these temperatures climb. Already right now, we're knocking on the door of 90 degrees in a couple of spots. We started off, mainly in the upper 60s to the lower 70s here, but as we've approached 1 o'clock, we already have a couple of areas that are right around 90 degrees. I'll go back to the live temperatures for you right now as of 1:11, and you can see those. The interesting thing is it's the East Coast that's hotter right now. Daytona Beach is at 88, Titusville 88, Melbourne, Palm Bay 88, Sanford 88, on over towards DeLand at that same number, Ocala, Crystal River, Inverness 86, it's 84 at the airport there at MCO. Downtown Orlando is finally reporting. They weren't reporting earlier this morning, but they're in at 84 degrees. Skies have become cloudier the farther west that you go. That's the enhanced satellite imagery. When I go to our visible satellite imagery, you can see some of the thicker clouds that have kind of snuck in here with a little bit more sunshine along the immediate coast. But look, there's going to be the opportunity to tie or break some record highs for today. I've got some numbers up for you guys, courtesy of NWS Melbourne. Daytona Beach, 90 is the record high for today, set back in 1956. Leesburg, it's 89. Sanford, it's 91. Orlando is 92, so I don't think we're going to get there. Melbourne is 91 back in 2018. So those are all areas with an opportunity to break a record high or tie a record high for today. In the Tampa Bay area, let's see here if we could get the numbers up quickly. It doesn't look like they have them. I mean, I can go to climate, but it's probably not worth it, to be quite honest. The bottom line is we could simply be tying or breaking record highs today ahead of this. Hey, Farrah, how you doing? Hi, Jamie. Good afternoon from Arcadia. Hi, Linda. How are you? Yeah, I agree. It's too soon for these numbers. It's steamy outside. There's no doubt about it, right? The weekend was absolutely that way. It was beautiful, but it was outright hot. I mean, it was hot. We talked about that on Friday's show, right? How muggy, how warm it was going to be. Now, the winds today are also going to be out of the south. They're quite breezy. These are the wind gusts, right? It's a story too. This is still a south wind. Look at MCO here in Orlando. If I just put that on, you're going to look at these winds that have been pretty gusty all morning long, and they're all out of the south. And we've had some wind gusts of up to 35 miles an hour. Again, this is ahead of the storm system that's going to be coming in. And when I bring back on the radar, you can clearly see the evolution of this. Now look, this is a healthy line of storms. Look at all the lightning in just the 15-minute count. It's come down a little bit. We've seen some of that energy move up to the north, so you're going to see the lightning count drop a bit, especially losing a little bit of lightning here to the south as well. But look, these are still healthy storms that are moving across I-10 as we speak, and will begin to impact our area later today. So again, I'm expecting this to mainly be dry the remainder of the daylight hours. That being said, I want you to notice some of the showers that have snuck back into, portions of Manatee and Sarasota County, back into Hillsborough, and now into Polk. There will be, with these south winds, enough transport of moisture ahead of the main line to break out some isolated showers. It's not out of the question that we're going to get a little bit of rain from time to time to move across our area here. But again, these would be kind of fast moving showers more than anything. Maybe if we can punch it up a bit, get a lightning strike here or there out of them. But the main game, the main show in town, is going to be what's happening later in the day. Now, these winds are causing other problems here. I'm going to bring on the advisories. That's going to take just a second to load up. We'll look at the marine interest coming up in just a second. But I want to switch over here real quickly to my cameras. If you guys watch our show, I've got some live cameras to show you. We're going to start off with the camera in Winter Garden. Now, I was looking at this camera earlier in the morning and not that long ago, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was fairly clear. Now we've really darkened up. And again, this is in Western Orange County, kind of the far west metro Orlando area, looking back off towards the west. And again, what you're seeing is the beginnings of this system coming in. We're going to start off getting those clouds. The winds, this camera's looking west, so the winds are still out of the south, pushing that palm tree from south to north, but we're actually seeing the clouds approach this with our westerly mid-level winds dragging in this thicker cloud coverage. So now we're going to get not much more sunshine, at least here in Metro Orlando, which is one reason why we're not going to get to the record highs for today. Could bear a few showers out ahead of this, and then the main line coming in. This is the same situation for the Disney area. You're looking back south and west. The skies have filled up with clouds coverage there in Lake Buena Vista. And again, down the road later today, the opportunity for some storms to move into this area. Obviously, if you have attractions plans later today, maybe you want to hit the fireworks displays on this Monday evening. It is a time frame that you need to stay weather aware for. There is the opportunity for some of these storms to be working its way in, and it's gotten a little bit cloudier here in Conway as well. Again, there was a fair amount of sunshine in the Metro Orlando area earlier in the morning, but now at 1:15, a lot of clouds have been working its way through. So thicker cloud coverage, breezy conditions. Again, this is not going to help the temperatures out any. We're still going to be, very warm for this time of the year, just not hitting records in Orlando because we don't have the full sun. But of course, the cloud coverage, what does it do? It traps the humidity, so it's going to be pretty stifling outside. The only thing that's kind of going against that, if you will, is that we do have some relatively brisk winds, and that always helps out the humidity factor a little bit. Feels just a little bit nicer than what it otherwise normally would. Okay, so back out to my weather computer. These are the current advisories that are into play. So the first thing I want to mention is that there is now a wind advisory for Flagler County and Marion County and Putnam County here. A couple of just different ones here. So let's see here. It's going to be, I think, the same advisory, just broken down into different zones. So the bottom line is we've got a wind advisory in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. Let me get that fully onto your screen so you guys can see that. And again, the wind advisory right here in brown, Marion, Flagler, Putnam, Alachua County would be included in this as well. Winds increasing to 25 miles an hour with gusts to 40 to 45 until 9 o'clock. And again, these kinds of winds can obviously knock around unsecured lightweight objects in your yard, could knock down a tree limb here or there. Power outages could be an issue, but you get the idea that as these storms begin to work its way in, this is what's going to be happening. All the yellow is the tornado watch that I already showed you. All of the orange are the special marine warnings that are coming along for the ride. Down in Pinellas County, you have a rip current statement. Those are in blue. Down from the central and southern sides of Brevard County back towards Indian River County, you have a beach hazard statement. All modes of bad weather for the beaches. We're talking about rip current risk. We're talking about the opportunity for some erosion as well. So just keep that in mind. Mainly the rip current risk is the biggest thing. I would not be getting in the waters. All of the purples that you see here are small craft advisories. For the near shore waters of Volusia and Brevard counties, I believe the small craft advisory will go into effect at the top of next hour at 2 o'clock. And then you're going to have small craft advisories up and down the entire East Coast, north of Fort Lauderdale, at least through tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so for both nearshore and offshore waters, because the winds are going to be whipping ahead of this system, the winds are going to be whipping behind this system as well. So again, if you're just tuning in, let's go over to our current warnings here. So this is going to be a loop of the radar with the active warnings. Now, I have this looped up over the last 6 hours. I want to take you back, and again, you can easily look at your time frame here on the top left-hand side of your screen. If you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in. Do you see those purple polygons, right? Those are tornado warnings. So this was a very rowdy system into southwest sides of Georgia. We had some pretty active weather here with another tornado warning towards Thomasville. And again, just a all-mode severe weather situation to our north and to our west. And even really, just before the noontime hour, we had even additional tornado warnings. If you notice, we had one for the Tallahassee area. Okay, so our state capital had a tornado warning just before lunchtime, just a little bit more than an hour and 15 minutes ago. At this point in time, the severe weather has come down a bit, but still looking at that opportunity here in these areas. And again, for us, we're going to see some scattered showers develop ahead of the main line. So don't think we're going to be completely dry as we go through the rest of the afternoon hours, but it's going to be widely scattered. It's all about when that line actually gets its way in. Let's see if there's any mesoscale discussions associated with this. There isn't, which is good, because that typically means that they're focused more on higher end severe weather, and I don't see that. Again, our risk for today in green, the darker green, is going to be your 1 out of 5, your marginal risk for northern and western areas, and most of us are in that general thunderstorm risk. So let's get into the models and we'll break this down. And I've got a few forecasts to talk about as well. I'll start it here at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we'll go out the full time frame. And we can take a look at a couple of different high resolution models. Again, this event is close enough where we can do that a little bit easier. We're within inside 48 hours, so we've got a couple of different high res models I can show you guys. So again, first of all, is there an opportunity for a strong or isolated severe storm in Central Florida? Yes. The timing is not fantastic, just like the last couple of times. But that being said, we're warming up to the upper 80s, even some lower 90s. We're going to have some heat energy. We're going to be losing the heat of the day as the storms actually arrive, but I can't rule that out. And obviously, it's something I'm going to be monitoring for us here. But again, this is not going to be a high-end, threat for us later this evening and overnight. But don't be surprised if you hear some rowdy storms outside, because it will come along with a fair amount of thunder and lightning as it works its way through. But obviously, the rain associated with this is very beneficial as we continue to struggle with drought conditions here in Central Florida. So as we approach and go just beyond sunset tonight, this is 8:22. You can see that the HRRR model begins to move in the storms. And again, let's be clear, these are fairly slow moving. This is 3 o'clock, and I think that's about right. The storm's going to be there in about an hour and a half. So it's a pretty slow moving system for us here. They'll begin to get a little bit closer into Central Florida as we push deeper into the evening hours of this Monday. And again, we could see some very breezy 40, 50 mile an hour winds that are not severe, right? You got to get 60 or plus here with a fair amount of thunder and lightning. I'm not horribly concerned about hail, but some very small pea-sized hail could accompany this. Now, again, the situation is as we approach midnight and go beyond, as we've lost the heat of the day, we're going to lose a little bit of the thermal dynamics in the atmosphere, and these storms should break apart a bit. This is why you can clearly see that things kind of fade away a bit as we get into early on our Tuesday morning. The interesting thing about it is it actually puts South Florida back into play for some stronger to severe storms tomorrow, and you can actually see those discrete cells developing there towards Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and the northern sides of the Bahamas, as they're going to be juiced up in the atmosphere for tomorrow as well, and they could see some strong to severe storms. The risk from the SPC for tomorrow for severe weather is actually all the way back down to Miami, Homestead, and the Keys. Again, it's the marginal, 1 out of 5 on the scale. This is your general thunderstorm risk. We could be left over with some storms early tomorrow morning in our central and southern areas, and then everyone should begin to clear out as we go deeper into our Tuesday. But a few isolated showers and storms are certainly possible as we go into tomorrow morning. So let me bring back on the HRRR model and loop this back up. And again, for our area, sorry about that, it's way too close. For our area here, again, to avoid the most stout storms, it's simply the timing. This is going to be moving through this evening and overnight and early tomorrow. So we're going to catch a break in that regard. Let's get the rain, right? We need the rain, but let's avoid that severe weather, which we have a pretty good opportunity to do so, at least in any big way. For tomorrow, again, in the afternoon hours, if we're going to catch a better chance for a shower or storm, it's going to be like Manatee, Sarasota, southern sides of Osceola, Palm, onto central and southern sides of Brevard and into Indian River counties. I don't expect there to be much, but there could be a little bit of juice in the atmosphere to refire this. I think you get north and west of I-4 tomorrow after the daybreak hour, we're relatively dry, okay? Now, again, this will actually come with some cooler weather because we will actually pull in a north wind behind this as well. It'll still be breezy, but again, you can clearly see, by the way, if I just bring this out to a broad perspective, this is a pretty impressive cold front for this time of the year because it clears all the way into the Keys. And as you get into April, these fronts can really stall out well ahead of this, and we get those quasi-stationary boundaries. Those are the ones that can provide days of ample rainfall. This is a much more progressive system that should actually work its way all the way well to our south and to our east. And you can see that those winds turn out of the north there just by simply looking at the reflectivity from the HRRR model. Let's take a look at the high-resolution NAM. This one goes out a little bit more. It goes out 60 hours, but more than anything, it's just, hey, what's the timing of this? Right, so we looked at the HRRR. Notice again the NAM certainly keeps this line very solid as we get to right around sunset, and then it's of course what happens after that as far as breaking it apart a little bit. But look, high-end chance for showers and storms in our area late tonight and overnight. It's just that I think the severe weather threat is going to be a lot lower. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you wouldn't mind doing me a quick favor, liking this live stream. If you wouldn't mind doing me a quick favor, subscribing to the channel if you have not as of yet. Now, I appreciate all of those who are tuning in live. okay, for this live stream. You can obviously watch this at your convenience. It gets archived under the live tab here of the CFLW YouTube channel. That being said, if you're watching live, you get the most heads up. And that's one reason why I do these shows at 1 o'clock, because obviously here in Florida, our weather tends to get a little bit rowdier into the afternoon and evening hours, especially during the wet season, but this cold front timing. So again, those who are watching this live stream live are catching this as early as possible, and you guys are getting a good heads up. The deeper you watch into the afternoon, you're gonna be just fine, but again, not as much heads up as watching it live. So I appreciate those who have tuned in ahead of this. Now, you can clearly see the NAM shows you that moisture returning with the south winds and some light showers breaking out ahead of the main line. Again, a rumble of thunder is possible with that, but clearly look how this line holds together very nicely with more opportunity for some severe weather until right around sunset. Then we get towards, again, that 8 o'clock hour and watch this begin to break apart. Really, the NAM and the HER are in pretty lockstep as far as timing. Again, 8 to 9 in our northwest areas, into the I-4 corridor late evening and through the overnight. Still can't rule out some rumbles of thunder. Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, Deltona, Altamont Springs, Oviedo, Sanford, Orlando, Winter Garden, Ocoee, back down towards Kissimmee, Lakeland, Haines City, Tampa, Carrollwood, on over towards places like St. Pete and the beaches there, Clearwater Beach, all the way up towards the Hudson area. Lakeland, all could see or hear some rumbles of thunder. There's no doubt about it. But again, a little bit more widely scattered more than anything else. Again, wind gusts, I think, are the big threats here of over 50. Notice that the NAM, again, re-energizes this line right around sunrise tomorrow morning. It's, again, our southern areas. If you live in Brevard County, especially Merritt Island South, Satellite Beach in the Atlantic, Palm Bay, Melbourne, Grand Valkyria, on over towards Mico, Barefoot Bay, southern sides of Osceola County, towards Yeehaw Junction and the Turnpike, and then south of there. And then deeper into the day we go, those storms will be a little bit stronger. But even then, you know, the ham NAM says we're gonna linger a few showers here. And again, a redevelopment of some rain, I-4 corridor just south. So that's a little bit farther north than what the HER had tomorrow afternoon. But if you live across the I-4 corridor, Seminole County south, you've got that opportunity. Northern areas, Daytona, Ocala, you know, the Villages, Eustis, Umatilla, places like that, I think you're probably pretty much dry for the rest of your Tuesday once the rain initially passes through. Now, the interesting thing is you can clearly see there's a spin at the mid-levels with the NAM off of our east coast. That's an interesting feature. Keep an eye out for that, because could that drive in more rain, say Wednesday, back along our east coast? It's a possibility if that spin is vigorous enough and gets close enough to our east coast. So I'll be monitoring for you guys that as well. Severe weather-wise, probably not again, but more rain. And again, we'll take it, because if I show you guys, if I go over to this product here real quick, which is just our day one risk, and I take that off, and we look at, it's hilarious because I always forget what the tab is. Nope, that's excessive rainfall. Drought, here we go. If we take a look at the drought monitor, again, you're going to see that most of our area is under some form of a drought. The brown is abnormally dry, the yellow is into a moderate drought, and the orange is a severe. So we need the rain. We desperately, desperately need the rain. As far as rainfall totals go out of this, this is the GFS precip over the next 5 days. Nice little void there right across I-4. I don't buy that, obviously. Let's go over to the HER. Again, models are just a guidance, you know. You shouldn't be taking them at face value all the time, no doubt about it. Let's just go out to a single frame here. There we go. So this is the HER model. Again, high resolution, rapid refresh. Let's be clear. You can clearly see that these storms hold together better in South Georgia through our eastern panhandle. They certainly break apart a bit as well. And look, even the HER is pretty weak with the actual rain totals. And that's right. I would have expected more as well, to be quite honest. Let's bring on the numbers here. You know, 1/4 of an inch of rain or so, maybe, right? You get a little bit higher amounts north, Palm Coast, St. Augustine, maybe towards a 1/2 inch. And then maybe if you're lucky, you get 1/10 of an inch or more here. kind of, again, the re-energization of the storms south and east. And you can clearly see, again, where the heavier rain is going to fall here, too. So I'm a little surprised it's as low as it is. Hopefully we get a little bit more than this, especially north and west areas, especially along our west coast, where there should be a little bit more moisture content and quality as the storms arrive. I would expect the US 19 corridor towards the beaches to have a higher chance to get you some better rainfall totals. Let's take a look at, put a couple of forecasts for you guys together. Let's take a look at that. We'll start off with the Orlando area. So again, now let's be clear, late tonight and overnight, the rain chance is anywhere from 50 to 70%, okay? After that, for daybreak tomorrow, we've got a 30% chance for some leftover isolated showers or rain. But generally speaking, the rain is kind of breaking apart in the morning hours. As I mentioned, I can't fully rule out a redevelopment of an isolated shower or even a rumble of thunder tomorrow afternoon in the greater Orlando area, but it's a pretty low chance. But it will be cooler. After, you know, some areas today that got 90 or above, Orlando won't get there because of the thick clouds right now. We're back down to 75 for the daytime high tomorrow. So there is a 15-degree plus difference in some spots from the daytime high today to tomorrow. For Wednesday, again, you kind of saw from the models, there could be a few isolated showers kind of redeveloping, but that would be about it. With a north wind still 79 the daytime high, quite comfortable. Thursday looks fantastic. Mostly sunny skies, right around 84 daytime high, which is, you know, we're getting back to where we should be here for early April. We just don't want to get into those 90s like we've had if you want to enjoy a little bit cooler weather this time of the year. At least we still have fronts to provide us the opportunity to actually see a respite from some of that heat if that's not what you're looking for in early April. If that's what you're looking for, you've enjoyed the forecast. For my friends in Tampa, again, storm chances will be higher tonight, but as we get into the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning, it's a 40% chance. Again, mainly in the morning, AM scattered showers and a rumble of thunder. And once again, their daytime high in Tampa falls back down to 75 as well. Absolutely gorgeous Wednesday, absolutely gorgeous Thursday. I think we're dry in the Tampa St. Pete areas both days. Beautiful afternoon, 60 the morning low on Wednesday, 81 the daytime high, sunny, comfortable because the humidity is still not going to be stifling on Thursday as the daytime high gets back up to 84 degrees. So again, it's the showers and storms overnight and a redevelopment of a couple of showers in some spots tomorrow, or maybe even an isolated shower early on Wednesday as well. Back out to our live cameras here. Again, thickening clouds from Winter Garden, looking off towards the west, friends. That's what's coming your way. If you live farther east, you're probably seeing a little bit more sunshine at this point in time, but for some areas, not much. So the thick clouds, the rain on the way. For Conway, now we're looking east from this camera, so we are looking towards our east coast. And again, that's where there's a little bit more of at least some filtered sunshine. The thicker cloud coverage has certainly crossed over the I-4 corridor in Orlando. And again, the breeze there in the Lake Conway area. And then our live look to Disney. Again, relatively murky sky up there. No real rain as of yet, but we're trying to get a couple of showers to develop again ahead of the main line. So let's go back out to the weather computer. I'm going to take it out to the big view, and then I'm going to drop off those numbers. Let's see here. Let's drop off those numbers. All right, great. Let's go to Tampa radar and pick up and see if we've got any of that rain. So at this point in time, you know, you do have some showers that are creeping up Polk County and into the I-4 corridor, right? So right up I-4, Haines City, Davenport, on over towards Celebration and Kissimmee, and there's Lake Buena Vista. So this is where our camera is, and it's actually looking back towards this rain. Now, there's no lightning associated with this at all, but there is some pretty decent showers right over the Champions Gate area as we speak, on over towards Four Corners, and eventually we'll get towards places like Celebration, I-Drive, and all of the attractions as well. So we'll see if this holds together, but it looks to be on a track, basically moving north and east right across I-4. Additional scattered showers are likely to develop as well, right? Ahead of this main line, which again, still has the opportunity for severe weather. We still have our tornado watch, which you see in purple. Now, I do not expect us to fall under any severe thunderstorm watch or tornado watches, okay? I want to be clear about that. Again, mainly it's the timing. That watch goes until 6 o'clock. We'll have to see how the storms look at that point in time as to whether they might extend that watch farther south and east. But based on the trends I've seen so far, I don't think it's going to happen. Again, I'm going to be monitoring the situation, so if there is a need to come back on live sometime on this Monday, I'll certainly do so as well. You know, obviously we're talking about if we get back into a severe weather situation that warrants me going on live, you know, I guys got you covered to take a look at that as well. Again, look at local storm reports real quick. I continue to add on a lot of different layers here. What do we got here? Ambient weather station reported a wind gust of 64. They're in Franklin County. Okay. Right near Port St. Joe, we got 46 at Apalachicola Bay at the airport. Trees down, damage to house and barn there in Colquitt County, Georgia. So again, I could just kind of take a look at all of this. Oh, here you go. Some debris reported at Chauncey Mill Road. The presence of a radar indicated tornadic debris signature indicates strong possibility of a tornado. That was 6:45 this morning in Rock Hill, Georgia, Early County. Gives you an idea of the weather that they've seen there. How you doing, Linda? It is supposed to get cooler, Linda. Once this is over, you can go back and take a look at, I did a couple of forecasts just before you jumped on, but yes, tomorrow afternoon's highs I expect to mainly be in the mid 70s. So we will get a respite, if you will, from these 90s. Now, it's going to be pretty darn steamy this afternoon. Again, we're all ahead of this. So current temperatures right now, and again, places like Daytona Beach could actually flirt with their record high temperature for today. If I go back over to the records here, Daytona, and again, this is just looping up over the last several hours. So if we go right now, Daytona's 88, their record high is 90 today. Leesburg 84, and the reason why it's not as warm there is when I go over to the visible satellite imagery, which is our high resolution visible satellite imagery, by the way, you can see that there's just this thicker cloud coverage that's pushed right across day 4. So temperatures I think are going to hold steady here. Leesburg shouldn't get to a record high. Sanford, even at 88, their record is 91. I don't think they're going to get there. Orlando, that's at the airport, 84. Record's 92. Melbourne's record is 91. They're in at 88. It's the East Coast that has the shot to tie the record, maybe break it in an isolated place here or there. But obviously, it's a very steamy day. Winds have been absolutely energized as well. Take a look at these gusts, guys. If I throw on these gusts, you know, all morning long, we've had 25, 30, 35 mile an hour winds, and that's not going to happen. The timing of the storms, Linda, for your area is going to be mainly a few showers possible this evening, but more than likely coming in overnight and through early tomorrow morning, with a possibility in Brevard County to redevelop some of those storms into the afternoon hours tomorrow, but it will mainly be isolated in fashion. So again, out ahead of the main line of storms that are coming, you can see some of that moisture with that south wind. So some showers briskly moving up I-4 towards Polk County. Here's the main game right now. Let me get back on the lightning data with this as well. You can see all the lightning associated with it. These are pretty good storms, right? The yellows are your special weather statements, the red are severe thunderstorm warnings, and of course we did have some tornado warnings earlier. Now at this point in time, we have a special marine warning, a special weather statement, some more special weather statements here. It's good to see that the trend has come down a bit, but this system is also going to be running into pretty juiced up atmosphere with temperatures in the upper 80s as it gets a little bit farther south into the east. Yeah, it's kind of like murky sunshine there, Farah, no doubt about it. You know, but again, those south winds, regardless, are still pulling in that, you know, that warm weather. The humidity is obviously up as well. So again, friends, this is the situation for today. I'll recap it for you guys one more time. This line of storms will be moving in mainly after sunset during the evening and the overnight hours. At this point in time, it's a limited risk for any severe storms. Thankfully, based on the timing, as we lose the heat of the day, we'll lose some of the instability. But there could still be some rowdier storms, so just get prepared for that. Storms could refire in our southern zones tomorrow morning, and then a couple of isolated storms or just some showers tomorrow and Wednesday afternoons, but much more isolated in nature. Behind this line, I do expect there to be some cooler weather. Again, the risk for today, severe weather-wise, is mainly to our north, but we could see a marginal risk for storms in our northwest areas. The light green is just your general thunderstorm risk, again, later tonight. And then for tomorrow, isolated general thunderstorms from Orlando south, better chance for a few severe storms down towards Miami and the Keys. So we're going to wrap up the show for today. Once again, CFLW, the show, sponsored by the Lien Law Firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners, insurance attorneys, friends. They cover the entire state. We never like to think about it, but you got to get into an insurance claim, situation. You've had some hail damage. You've been in a car accident. Hurricane has come through. You can let the Lien Law Firm walk you through every step of that insurance claim process. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. You like to support someone who supports the channel, go to lienonmelaw.com. As always, I'll be monitoring the situation. If there's a need to come back on live sometime this evening because there are severe thunderstorm warnings in the area and it warrants it, I will certainly do that. Just get prepared for at least the potential for some stronger storms. We might just have some special weather statements. We might have winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour. But again, the rain we will take. Extremely beneficial as we stick under this drought. If I don't see you guys later tonight, and cross your fingers that I don't, I'll see you guys for Friday's show at 1 p.m. We'll be talking about how the next storm system could be evolving into our area, and we'll take a look at the forecast for the next weekend as well. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking a quick second to like this live stream. Again, if you're watching the live version, you've got the biggest heads up that I could possibly give you. If you're watching this in a recorded version, I hope that you're watching it before the storms have arrived. But joining me for the live version, you guys get that opportunity to really plan out your day. Thank you again for subscribing to the channel. Have a great rest of your Monday, and hopefully I won't see you back until Friday, but if I have to, I have to. That's what we do here at CFLW. You guys, again, take care, and I'll see you soon.